Don't you guys like it when you guys go ahead and sip a cup of water before you guys start a great and big video? No? I'm the only one? Alright. Yo, what's good guys? It's your host, the one and only, Sage Decent right here, back at it again with another video. This being another part to what if Asta had Mihawks sword skills. It's been quite a while since I last posted a part to this what if. It's been a while since I posted a part to really any what if, as I have been taking a short break, but here I am. Now guys, I'm not going to get really much into detail about, why I was gone and everything, because I just told you it was just a short break. And I already know that you guys don't want to sit here and be bored by me doing nothing more but just talking to y'all. So I'm just going to get started with this video. Hopefully all y'all do enjoy. I'm putting in more effort into making my videos, including editing. So yeah, I'm trying to test some things out here and there. But anyway, why don't we go ahead and get started.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
Alright guys, let's go ahead. All of us sit down, get cozy, rub your damn feet. I don't know. Or mostly just, just relax. I know I'm just going to be relaxing while recording this video, which is why if you guys end up hearing me take, miniature breaks between of, just me breathing in and stuff like that, don't start complaining, alright? It's called, because YouTube is supposed to go ahead and allow me to relax and, just tell the story. Because when I relax, I be telling my stories the best of times. But now let's go ahead and really get started with this tale. So after going ahead and pretty much showing a ginormous spectacular to pretty much everyone in the entire Black Clover Kingdom who are sitting down watching the Royal Magic Night exams, everyone now understand about how powerful the newcomer of the Black Bulls, aka this lowly commoner, exactly how much power he was showing. While the other Black Bulls look on with pride, as this is what they expect from someone who many of them already deem like the vice captain or the second captain next to Yami, as they had already respected Asta enough to already think of him like that. Well, Noelle and a couple of other females had different thoughts. Yeah, water's good. But back to it. So after calmly walking off, the rest of the matches will then play out. And I'll say this, the Black Bulls are way above the other teams, as due to the fact that they have been getting training by Asta, as well as the extra training they got from Marileona, the Black Bulls are way past the levels than they were in canon, causing them to take care of their matches even faster than they were in canon. Now this will cause a chain of reactions from all the Magic Knights being like, oh my god, the Black Bulls, they're insane, oh my god, look at that one just shot up ginormous fireball, oh my god, look at that one, he's faster than lightning. Like literally they're over here don't understand this. It's like as soon as this commoner was placed into the Black Bulls, it seems like every single bit of knowledge they knew about them was flipped upside down. The ones in the apparently lowliest and the weakest Magic Knight squad was now turning out to become one of the most powerhouse and also most ruthless of them all. As we now continue on moving forward, eventually the next round matches will be up, and also just to let you guys know, was not a slouch either, as after seeing the impressive display by Asta, had gained even more courage that he decides to go ahead and show a little bit of his own, just flex a little bit on the rest of them, as he conjured up a ginormous tornado, banging pretty much the entire squad almost by himself. It wasn't for the fact that Noelle was actually surprisingly slightly faster than but that's mostly because she was a little bit on try-hard mode, so yeah. As we now continue on to the next matches, we now move forward to where it's going to be Asta and his team versus Magma's team. Now at this, Magma already goes ahead and gets into a crouched position as he goes and begins to, crack his neck. Now at this, Magma goes ahead and gives a smirk while the others begin to look at him. As this is when, of course, Moses' brother would then speak up saying, we're going up against that commoner? This shall be quite simply easy. However, this is when he was then cut off by Magma, who then says, oh no, we're definitely going to lose this one. Magma is going to go ahead and leave an impact, he says. He gives a fierce smirk, showing off his badass side. Yeah, Magma. Now, if you guys don't know this, Magma is probably one of my top 10 favorite characters in Black Clover. Mostly to the fact that, although we don't get very much screen time of him, later on, because, there's other stuff happening, Yeah, he's still one of my favorite characters because, well, dude, any character that does not give up is an A-OK on my book. And by the way, I mean top 10 favorite characters in Black Clover, I mean. Alright, but now moving on. So, this is when, of course, the others look at him surprised as Magma then smirks. We're facing off against a totally different monster, alright? Alright. You guys probably have faced multiple monsters in dungeons and stuff like that, but the monster we're dealing with is something that's actually human, surprisingly. And trust me when I say this, our chances of winning are practically zero. But this does not mean we can't go down without at least giving a small bit of a fight. He then gives off a fierce smirk. At this, of course, the others wonder what he mean. However, Magma can already tell that already from a far distance away, Asta had his eyes on them. As you now see, on the other hand of the side, we see Asta just calmly sitting down there, as his sword was, of course, still in his sheath. He was currently staring down at what seemingly nothing. However, unknown to his teammates, Asta was actually staring down at his team. With the practice of hockey, Asta's observation hockey got so good to the point where he's pretty much able to see things from very, very far distances, as he already had his eye on Magma as well as his team. And Asta could already tell, although Magma can't exactly see his distance, like the same distance that Asta's in, Magma could already knows that Asta's watching him. So as we continue on, eventually we will then see Zora pretty much explaining the whole spiel about how he set up traps here and they don't really have to do anything. As this is when Mimosa then looks at him concerned, of course, because she doesn't really want to win like that. That's very dishonorable in her opinion. But this is when Asta would say, I'm not here to play with this foolish act. I came here to test my strength. And you're getting in the way. At this, Asta would then step up as Zora would then turn to Asta. However, this is when Asta would then begin to release a small bit of the Conqueror spirit, causing Zora to actually, begin to sweat a little bit. Hey, calm down, jeez. As Asta goes ahead and stares down at Zora, this is when he then looks above. As this is when Asta would then think this is a perfect time to display his training. Getting down into a crouch position, if you guys want a reference, think of how Zenitsu gets into his position each time he's about to do the thunder thing. Also get down in a similar position as he stares directly in the direction of where Magma is. At this, Asta would then speak. Libe, it's about time. Hearing his name, Libe would then smirk as he would then appear on Asta's shoulder, surprising the others. As Mimosa would of course, think he's cute, while Zora is just thinking like, what the fuck is that thing? As this is when, of course, we would then hear Libe then smirk. Finally my moment to shine. At this, Asta goes ahead and nods, as this is when suddenly a blackish aura would then expel from them. And it's not Conqueror's hockey, but it feels similar, as dread begins to creep up on both Mimosa and Zora's shoulders. As Mimosa begins to describe the feeling, saying how it completely feels like nothing more but pure evil incarnate. This is when Asta wouldn't give off a fierce smirk, as the blackish aura would then wrap around him. Now, if you guys want a reference to this form, I actually... Well, it's going to look similar, but if you guys have not read, I'm not going to give too much detail about it because I want to go ahead and spoil some people. But let's just say this, Asta got a major power upgrade, as we end up seeing this ginormous metal form, except things are different. Asta is now, completely coated in this black energy as he begins to expel wings, but I'm going to say instead of one, there's 4 wings, okay? 4 wings expelling from his back. He still had the horns out, except this time, I'm going to say that his horns was also accompanied by this sort of a black fedora that goes ahead and appears on his head. As Asta gets like this new type of drip, which is going to look similar to Mihawks, as he even has the coat with the wings on the back, of course. As Asta looked pure badass at this moment. At this, the others can only look on in shock, while Asta goes ahead and breathes in and breathes out. As this one suddenly, just like that, in a black flash, Asta would then vanish before everyone's eyes, surprising them, as the shockwave from his departure was enough to send both Mimosa and Zora flying. However, luckily, Asta makes sure to withhold from destroying his own crystal due to his own power. At this, just like that, the feeling of dread began to overtake the entire arena as soon as Asta had left, as everyone felt as if this ginormous pressure fell upon them. At this, the Black Bulls can only do nothing more but honestly try to gain wits. After all, they have experienced Asta's... Well, they have never experienced this before, but they have experienced something similar to that, but that's only from Asta. But it seemed like even if they train, they're never going to really get used to this feeling. Gosh damn, Asta. You really are crazy, huh? Finral can only say as he goes ahead and stares down at the person he calls his Kohai, I guess. As the other Black Bulls go ahead and look, everyone else in the kingdom is freaking out like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck? Are we under attack or something? While the Wizard King is keeping a watchful eye on Asta, as he can't help but wonder just how far would this commoner without any magic at all go. Now he's not, insulting us, but he's just wondering like how far can Asta like go. Back with the others, Magma can already feel the feeling of dread. He then says, he's coming, let's go. As this is when he goes ahead and shoots off a ginormous flame chain that wraps around the others as he jumps down in a hole. Now during this time, Asta would of course end up destroying all the traps that Zoro has set up, and with only a small slash, literally just a small one. As Asta's slash was not even that powerful, heck, it would look like something that you guys would go ahead and do when like cutting some toast or something like that. But Asta's one small slash was powerful enough that it destroyed the entire area that Magma and his team was, as a ginormous tornado full of the anti-magic energy enveloped the entire area, shredding it to pieces until there was nothing left. At this, everyone stares on in shock as the mages who created like a magical barrier to enforce it so that way no one gets hurt, they had to put in extra work as the anti-magic almost destroyed the barrier. As looking down at the carnage that had ensued, Asta would be standing in a plain field of pure destruction that he had caused. It was so big that he even created a ginormous crater, not so big that it took up the entire arena, but enough that it looked like it was very noticeable to everyone. Now, at this, Asta goes ahead and looks around for a few seconds as he then begins to use Haki to sense, as this one he would then pick up on Magma. Ah, clever, Asta would think as he stares down at the hole that was right beside him. Magma, in a very short span of instance, had burned, in Asta, like I said, Magma had been training for this. He had burned a small hole underneath all of them, which he used up a pretty, like only an average amount of his magic, especially when it's concentrated, he's been able to do it. Look, I'm not going to get into the whole detail how it works, just enjoy the fight. Anyway, Magma had went ahead and burst down, using his fire to burn a hole, as they all fell into it. As Asta goes ahead and stares down at it, the others can do nothing more but watch, as Magma will then burst out from another hole in another direction. Damn it, Asta, take this! As he will then throw a ginormous fireball from the other direction that he appeared from. As the fireball goes ahead and begins to shoot towards Asta, it doesn't even touch Asta, as by the time it was at least 20, I'm gonna say, as soon as it was like 3 feet close to Asta, it would just disappear automatically. As Asta had gotten enough control over his anti-magic to the point where he's able to form like this ginormous barrier of anti-magic. It's very thin, but this barrier is enough to the point where if you're close to it, any like long-range magical attacks that are thrown at him will be cancelled as soon as it gets entered into this small barrier. At this, Asta goes ahead and looks at Magma and his location, while Magma can only think of only a simple word to describe this moment. Shit. As this is when suddenly Asta would appear right in front of Magma in a split second, with the katana already there at Magma's neck. Do you surrender? At this, Magma goes ahead and looks at Asta as he then says, you know I don't. As this is when Magma would then burst out, exploding as soon as Asta had backed away just in time. This was a technique that Magma had learned, which I'm just going to call it a flaming clone. As Magma, this thing took up quite a large amount of reserves from Magma, but he was able to go ahead and harness it. So yeah, he sort of went ahead and did that. However, luckily Asta had been able to dodge it, because Asta is very OP, so he's easily going to dodge that. As this is when, of course, Magma and the rest of them, they were currently hiding away with their crystal, as that was the only thing they can do. Magma can't exactly hit Asta, as he already knew that Asta, even if he wanted to, he could literally just stop his attacks by cutting through them. As this is when, of course, Mimosa's brother would then speak up, asking Magma like what the heck they should do, as well as Soul, who's also looking at Magma. As this is when Magma would say, nothing. I told you, we're facing off a real monster. And trust me, unless you actually have some sort of, I don't know, unexpected power-up, we're not going to beat this guy. At this, Magma already knew that with the match against Asta, he did not stand a chance. But at least he can go ahead and not give up. As this is when suddenly Asta would then appear in front of them, saying, very true, Magma, very true. At this, the others go ahead and gasp in shock as they try to keep away their crystal, but it's sadly too late, as faster than even the Wizard King can see, Asta had unsheathed his blade and put it back into his katana, as he had cut the crystal in half completely, as the others couldn't even see it happen. As the crystal would fall and hit the ground, everyone was silent as they looked at the horrible display, while Magma gives Asta a calm smirk. Good game. At this, Asta would then exit out of the transformation as he goes ahead and smirks as well. Yup, you too. As this is when the announcer would then speak up, announcing the victory of Asta and his team. So just like that, the other matches would continue on just like they did in canon, as of course Noelle and the rest of them would stomp, as Noelle would actually do something surprising as we now turn to her. During the fight against Solid, Noelle would actually then smirk, as Solid would of course talk his shit, talking about, oh my god, you never should have become a Magic Knight in the first place, yada yada yada, you were a failure, you were a disgrace, all that typical bullshit royalty. But this is when Noelle would then talk her shit, talking about, I ain't no failure, as she began to reveal the Valkyrie armor that she had been able to attain. Seeing the Valkyrie armor, Solid actually backpedals, as he then gets a clear image of his mother. He had seen her in that form quite a few times, and the fact that Noelle looked exactly like her, he can't help but gasp. But he was not the only one, as Noelle, who also was attending the event, also saw it, as he can't help but gape in shock, as the only thing he can think about is just how she looks exactly like her mother. And also it hurt him to say that each time he looks at her now at this very moment, he can't help but feel guilt for all the bullshit he did. Like, bro, this man was supposed to be a big brother, and he did nothing for this girl. I don't want to hear her talking about, oh, I'm protecting you. Bitch, that shit was lame as fuck. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. This shit, oh my god, he just pisses me off, dude. You're telling me you did all that stuff, and so for, what, supposedly protecting her? Nah, dude. Nah, you were letting her literally be picked on by her own siblings, and you went ahead and was like, you know what? I should protect her. You're trash. You're a disgrace. Like, literally... I'm sorry. Let me just go ahead and cool down a little bit. Alright. So you guys can't tell, I don't really like Noelle. Okay? I just don't really like him. But back to it. So after pretty much beating Solid quite easily, like he did not stand a chance. There was no fight whatsoever. The rest of the teams continued on. As this is where we then do a miniature time skip all the way until Finral's match. Now, Finral's match will go surprisingly different. Now, I will say this. Finral's team, the outcome will still be the same, with Finral actually losing. However, the result was different. Instead of Finral going ahead and trying to match up against Longris's offensive power, he actually did something different. He used Longris's own power against him. As due to the fact of his spatial magic, Longris played more of a support role, so of course teleporting his teammates, as well as trying to counter Longris's attack by going ahead and warping them to him, as well as he's also went ahead and pretty much done it to where he pretty much made it to where Longris is literally incapable of even throwing a spell. So pretty much it was doing nothing more but Finral locking down Longris from really doing anything. And Longris, due to some anime bullshit, as well as some plot armor, was eventually able to find a way around Finral's whole lockdown strategy, as he was able to knock out Finral with his own magic, of course. However, he only knocked down Finral. Finral was not knocked out, and due to that, Finral was not badly injured to the point where he was near death, so there's that. Which, by the way, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you mean. In a world of magic, they like, bro, when you saw Finral's injuries, please tell me I'm not the only one who looked at that and just said, oh yeah, that's definitely a dead man right there. Ain't no way he's coming back from that. Like, bro, the way this man Finral was injured, this man should not have even gotten up in the next few episodes. But back to it. So eventually, after that being said, though, Longris was so pissed off at Finral, he tried shooting Finral with a one more spatial attack. However, just like that, of course, the Black Bulls squad would then, of course, pull up as they go ahead and surround him, daring him to even take another step, while also leading the charge, staring him down with his katana pointed directly at Longris's neck, ready to pierce it at any second. Now, okay. Can we calm down here for a few seconds? Said the Wizard King as he had also appeared. At this, of course, Longris was staring down at Asta like trash. But this is when Asta didn't speak up. Wizard King, if I may partake in the request, I would like to have my match immediately. At this, the Wizard King goes ahead and stares down at Asta, while Asta continues staring down at Longris, with the both of them just going ahead and giving each other the stink eye. The Wizard King would of course agree to this request, as instantly Asta and his team would have this matchup against Longris. And oh boy, it was a slaughter. 5 seconds into the match, Asta would go ahead and instantly dash off, of course ignoring his teammates' cry. At this, Mimosa wanted to help out Asta, but honestly she could already tell that although Asta kept his emotions in check, he was pissed off as literally Longris was about to kill Finral. Like, sure, Finral was not that badly hurt, but still, that was a real fucked up thing to do, even for Longris. So with that being said, Asta, with the newfound bloodlust, would then rush towards his team. To Longris' team, of course. To which Longris, not even wasting any moment, he wanted to take care of the commoner instantly, would dash off, leaving his team behind. At this, upon his arrival, Asta and Longris would then arrive at the center of the arena, both of them doing nothing more but staring down at each other. At this is when Longris would then go ahead and actually begin to speak up. I don't get you, he says, as he stares down at Asta with anger and pure hatred. Like, he really hated Asta. You shouldn't have even existed, he says, as he begins to point out how all of this is Asta's fault. How everything that is wrong with the world right now is Asta's fault. The Black Bulls were supposed to be the weakest of the weak. They're not supposed to be strong. They're not supposed to be, at this unimaginable level of strength. Finral was supposed to still be a weakling and nothing more but his stepping stool. But ever since Asta had came into this world, all that has just been flipped around, and he hated it. He hated Asta. As this is when Asta would then say very, very simple words. I don't give a fuck, he says, as he goes ahead and glares at Longris. You think I give a damn about your damn prestigious system that you seem to glorify yourself on? I don't give a fuck about any of that. What I do care about is you. You dare try to end my comrade. So if so, I might as well pay you back in your own blood. At this, Asta will go ahead, unsheath the sword, instantly entering his transformation, his demon transformation, as Lee will appear on Asta's shoulder. At this, Longris would get pissed off, as this one telling he would then tap into his elf side, if you guys know about it, as he goes ahead and gets filled up with this aura. At this, he shoots off a bunch of spatial spells at Asta, to which Asta will then begin to walk towards him. As soon as they get even close to Asta, even a little bit close, they're gone. At this, Longris continues firing off more and more. However, each time they get closer to Asta, they just disappear before they even land an impact on him. At this, Asta was near untouchable. As Longris continues firing off spells, the others can do nothing more but watch. As this is when Asta would then do nothing more but simply slash with his sword. At this, just like that, Longris didn't get a cut across on the side of his stomach, causing him to actually back up. You cut me! At this, Asta says nothing more, as this is when another cut would then appear, this time on his cheek. As just like that, multiple slashes would then begin to appear all over Longris, as he begins to shout out in pain. One on his leg, other one like on his other cheek. This man was just getting chopped up real good. However, also was not like cutting him down, of course. He was just getting him like small little cuts, like paper cuts. As also was like playing with him. As by the time he was done, Longris was filled with cuts, as his prideful vice captain robe was shredded due to Asta. At this, he then says, No, you can't be this strong. You're. At this, Asta then looks down at Longris. As this is when Longris then realized that Asta was actually taller than him. As Asta would say, I'm the being who stands above you, scum. As this is when Asta would then land down a powerful slash, cutting Longris across the chest, surprising the man as he goes ahead and gets sent flying. The impact from said slash was so damn powerful that Longris was sent flying directly back to his teammates, who were trying to catch up to him, only for them to see their supposed leader get slammed into the same magical crystal that they were supposed to guard. As the crystal was of course hit on impact, Longris was completely knocked out, as well as the crystal was destroyed, declaring Asta and his team the winners. As it all came down to the final match. Hold up, guys. Let me go ahead and take a sip of water for this one. As this is where the final matchup was then there. At this, both teams would then stare each other down, as after the whole spiel that happened, Longoris was of course taken back to a medic, while the rest of his team just saw her out due to their own defeat, leaving Asta and Yuno in both of their respective teams to be ready to face off against each other. This was the moment that Yuno had been waiting for. Ever since he left Hodge Village, he had been training hard, extremely hard, as even Yuno had surpassed his can himself at this very moment, as he had been waiting for this one moment to take down Asta, the one guy who he saw as someone to measure against, someone that he could call truly his rival. Well, also, he continues to stare down at the blade. All memories of Yuno was literally like enforced into his head at that very moment. He remembered the first time he saw Yuno, and he had to admit he was disinterested the first time he saw him, as Yuno was nothing more than a crybaby. Now, this was of course when Asta still had, it was the moment where Asta still had like, you know, two different personalities, yeah, before it became one and whole. So back to it. Asta went ahead, he saw the first time he really got an interest in Yuno's rivalry, as the first time he had to admit Yuno was a disappointment. Now, I don't mean like that, like not like siblings, but I mean like he was a disappointment to be even called a rival. In fact, Yuno was so weak and frail that Asta didn't even have any opinion on him. He just thought like weak, not even worth my time. But this is when slowly over time you would see Yuno grow into a man that Asta could safely say would then, give him something like give him a challenge, give him something interesting, until finally it was now at this very moment. At this, as the others would then line up, this is when, of course, the referee would then announce the matchups to begin. As faster than, of course, than any of the... Heck, I'm not even going to explain it. None of the teams really cared, as they already knew that Asta and Yuno were going to clash off as soon as they stared down at each other. So, it was now time for the final matchups. At this, as both teams stared down at each other, it is when the announcer would then begin the match. Begin, he would say. At this, instantly blitzing into action, Asta and Yuno didn't even say a word to their teams as they go ahead and instantly rush towards each other, which didn't take that long considering the fact that their speed feats at this point is off the charts, but okay. At this, we will then see them eventually arrive at the center, with them at only a couple foot away from each other as they stare each other down. The time has finally come, Asta, Yuno would say as he stares down at him with a smirk. At this, Asta wouldn't give him a fierce smile of his own. You're correct, Yuno. At this, clutching his katana, Asta would then begin to unsheath it, while Yuno instantly begins to pull out Bell, who of course was staring down Asta as well, as this when suddenly Libe would then appear, as he also begins to ride on Asta's shoulder. Think of it like Pikachu and Ash, as both of them will stare down at each other respectively. As this went suddenly blitzing into action, Yuno did not want to waste any second, as he knew that Asta was someone that you need to make sure to keep on his toes. As this is when Yuno would then appear in front of Asta, he would instantly just jump into his spirit form, not giving a damn, as he already knew in order for him to beat Asta, he had to go extremely hard from the start. As this is when suddenly he would then swing at Asta with a fistful of wind, as this is when Asta, instantly seeing the attack, would swiftly dodge out of the way just in time, as the shockwave from said hit was powerful enough to push away a bunch of the surrounding areas behind Asta. At this, the attack was so powerful that the gust of wind even traveled straight to Mimosa and Zora, causing them to actually lose their footing a little bit. At this, seeing the attack was dodged, Yuno would then go ahead and form multiple wind blades behind Asta, as each one of them would target him. However, just as the wind blades begin to get close to Asta, Asta would then vanish once again, this time appearing above Yuno. Too slow, Asta would say, as he goes ahead and actually begins to swipe at Yuno with his blade, as Yuno would instantly get slammed in the neck with the back of the katana. The hit was so powerful enough that it actually slammed Yuno straight into the ground, as he was now currently free falling from the sky. Now, as soon as Yuno goes ahead and hits the ground, everyone sees like a ginormous smoke cloud begin to cover in the area, as Asta begins to keep on his senses, relying on them. After all, with Yuno, who knows what could happen. As this is when suddenly Asta would then feel movement throughout the smoke, as this is when suddenly multiple wind blades would then once again appear, as Asta would go ahead and scoff. Yuno, stop relying on old tricks, you already know what to do. As Asta begins to parry away all the wind blades, However, this is when suddenly things begin to get worse for wear, as this is when suddenly Asta wouldn't feel something ginormous coming, as this is when he would then have no choice but to actually swing his katana around, as he has to block a ginormous slash from the spirit blade that he had created. I don't know exactly the name of it, but it's the sword that Yuno had created from out of his wind magic. As this is when, with a large battle cry, Yuno would then, of course, continue slamming the blade down. As Yuno goes ahead and feels that the blade was currently just draining away. As the anti-magic was pushing up against the magic of the blade, literally erasing it. As Yuno had to continue pumping more and more magic into this. This is not working. However, luckily, this was nothing more than a setup. As Asta was blocking Yuno's attack, this is when suddenly, coming from behind, we would then see a ginormous spirit wave getting shot out from behind Asta. As this beam of wind was actually about to slam into him, this is when Asta would then give Yuno a smirk. Try harder, why don't you? As this is when, just like that, Asta would then disappear right in front of Yuno's eyes, surprising him once again. How does he keep doing that? Yuno can think. However, right before he could even think of something else, this is when he would then be sent flying, as well as the ginormous sphere of wind that was getting sent towards Asta was completely destroyed. As everyone looks around in shock, seeing that just the amount of chaos that Asta had caused in a very small instant, they can't help but realize just what type of level is Asta on. Heck, could he even be called a rookie anymore? However, as Yuno, of course, was sent flying, he would instantly crash into a nearby mountain. However, just as he was getting up, this when suddenly he would then feel a menacing aura would then begin to set in. He brought it out. As this is when suddenly Asta would then appear right in front of Yuno, sorry, made a mistake there. But this is when Asta would then appear in front of Yuno, this time completely clothed in the black anti-magic energy of his anti-magic, of course. As Asta would then begin to speak. Apologies, Yuno. It seems like I've taken you quite a little bit too lightly, but don't worry. At this, Asta would then be looking down at Yuno from above as he puts on a cold smirk. I'll make sure not to make that mistake again. Now then, shall we continue our fun? At this, Yuno would stare down at Asta with actually a nervous sweat, as this is when he's then thinking yes, this is what I've been waiting for. At this, with a mighty war cry, Asta and Yuno begin to go at it with each other, as they begin to clash each other with their blades, with Asta's anti-magic and Yuno's wind magic. Yuno will continue shooting multiple wind strikes at Asta, trying to push him away, with Asta doing nothing more but avoiding them and slicing them apart. At this, as the battle was going down to the wire, each time they would hit each other, mountains would literally be slashed apart. Ginormous of property damage would then appear, as everyone can do nothing more but watch in bated breath as these two titans clash with each other. At this, as Asta and Yuno scream each other's names out as they go ahead and clash each other's blades. At this, the clash between each blade was so powerful, they actually completely destroyed the magical barrier that was holding up the field, causing the mages that were there to actually be sent flying, and causing people to actually take in the ginormous shockwave as well. As this is when suddenly dust would begin to settle into the area. This is when we would then see both of them respectively away from each other, each one of them on their own respective plane of destruction. You know how this ginormous swirly amount of destructions, if you guys want to reference, think of it when Naruto was practicing the Rasengan and he made a bunch of holes of destruction and everything. That's where Yuno is while Asta is just a completely shredded land. There was a ginormous hurricane which just slammed onto the entire arena and nothing more but pure chaos was there. As each other would then stare, this is when Asta would then finally get into a crouching position. I do believe it's finally time that we end this. At this, Yuno would then give a smirk. I couldn't have said it better myself, Asta. As both of them stare down each other, Asta would then unsheath his katana as Yuno goes ahead and instantly he goes ahead and begins to pull up a ginormous burst of his mana. As this is when suddenly he would then shoot off not one, not two, but 4 beams, as each one of them will be coming from different directions, one from above, one from behind, one from the side, and one in front of Asta, as each one of these beams were set and locked onto Asta. And from how Yuno's perspective, there was no way even Asta could dodge this. While Asta, he was taking in a calm breath, as a load of anti-magic began to flow into the katana. As this is when suddenly Asta would then be enveloped once again in the darkish aura of the anti-magic as it begins to get pumped. As this is when Asta would then say, hopefully as soon as this is over, I recommend you train to get stronger. As the next time we battle, I expect you to be at your strongest. As this is when Asta would give Yuno a fierce smirk. As unsheathing the katana, Asta would do nothing more but swing down, as the attack was so powerful that the Wizard King had no choice but to step in. Fuck, he would say, as he goes ahead and instantly dash off, enforcing the barrier with his own magic, as he's just thinking like, please, hold. As the attack of that Asta made, I can't even give a name for it because, bro, Mihawk has no name for his attacks. Oh my god. Dude, Mihawk has no names for his attacks. No wonder this man is so OP. He's like, naming your attacks, dumbass shit. I go ahead, my attacks are OP, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know the name of it. Dang. Mihawk's a literal goon. Not naming your attacks, bro. This man broke the rules of anime. You have to name your attacks. Gosh dang. But back to it. As this is when Asta's ginormous slash would then begin to fill into the area, as the anti-magic overloaded the entire arena, causing the magic around them to actually just stop, as Yuno's beams of destruction that were sent towards Asta were completely just gone due to the massive wave of anti-magic. As the ginormous slash that was coming towards Yuno continued approaching, Yuno does nothing more but embraced it, as he had fully accepted that this was his loss. As the slash would hit Yuno dead on, everyone could do nothing more but gasp in shock, as finally, after that whole display, nothing more but dark dust began to set in. As once the smoke clears once again, we will then see Yuno on the ground, a destroyed crystal, nothing more but pure destruction, and the rest of Yuno's teammates just staring on in awe. As we see Asta exit out of his transformation, Libe on his shoulder, as he goes ahead and smirks down at Yuno. Hopefully you keep those final messages I sent to you. As this is when Asta would then calmly walk off the stage like a bad ad, as everyone could do nothing more but watch as the literal carnage that was the battlefield was no more, as the announcer would then announce Asta and his team the winners. As he actually then turned to Julius's opinion, Julius was currently on the ground panting, as this man is just thinking like, just what the heck? As Julius, he wasn't he wasn't literally about to pass out, but this man was taking in a heavy breath. Literally, if you guys want a reference to how much magic it took to survive this attack, I would say it would be about 75% of what he used back in the fight against, him versus Licht. If you guys watched the anime, where he freaking saved everyone from Licht's bullshit play. That's how much magic it took for him to even comprehend how to defend against Asta's attack. And the fact that, heck, there wasn't really much he could do to stop it. It was anti-magic. That thing could literally just stop his own. So he really just had to continue infusing magic over and over again until finally it just was strong enough to withstand it. As after putting the barrier down and after everything was displayed, everyone had to take a few months off to go ahead and take a break. So, with that being said, as we move on, eventually the Black Bulls still end up doing training, with Asta being the one most determined to still continue getting stronger. They will still end up taking missions and all that. As this is when suddenly Mary Leona would then bust into their base, which causes all the Black Bulls to be, frustrated because of her actions, considering the fact they're not here for disrespect, alright? And busting in here, that's a heavy sign of disrespect. So much so that Finral, Magma, Luck, heck, even Noelle, all surround her, each one of them prepared to literally throw hands with the literal captain, as Marileona was actually excited of even the thought of going up against literally currently the strongest Magic Knight squad, but she wasn't here for that. Well, I'm over here to go ahead and announce that you guys have passed your exams, alright? Now then, the ones who are here and supposed to come with me are pretty much everyone who just entered the exam. So Finral, Magma, Luck, Noelle, and even Asta, all of them all together are now part of the Royal Magic Knights. Now, will this cause some changes? Yes. Will that fucked up the story any way possible? No, because I'm freaking Sage the Samurai, and I do not give up like that. But back to it. With that being said, the Black Bulls would of course get their robes shipped off, as Asta, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, Asta was actually custom made. As soon as Asta was given his, he realized something was off. As he goes ahead and stares down at it, he can do nothing more but think, Jesus, this is so fancy, he thinks, as it feels so high and perky, but he can't help but he feels okay with it. As everyone would then be lined up, as you know, it was finally time for them to start raiding the base of the Eye of the Midnight Sun. This is when suddenly, as they were beginning to announce and everyone was like joining up, this is when Yuno would then ask them like, yo, where's Asta? At this, the others go ahead and was about to speak, but this is when Asta wouldn't speak up. I'm right here. Now, if you guys want a reference to this, let me just go ahead and say this. This man Asta was walking up in there. Literally, he wasn't even flashing his Conqueror's Hockey to get people's attention, bro. The drip itself was enough. As if you guys want a reference to how Asta looked, literally, it's Mihawk himself, dude. As Asta had gone ahead and someone had gone ahead and made Asta's like Royal Magic Night robe, it looked custom made, as Asta was over here looking stylish. As Asta will pull up to everyone. Now instantly, many of the females that were in there were now looking at Asta, because like, bro, this man of course was dripping out on them. The men's can do nothing more but look at Asta with respect. Like, bro, they're looking at probably the strongest individual in this room, and heck, they really mean it. They're even including the captains into this one, as they don't even know if maybe even Asta can take on Marileona. Heck, Asta even got Marileona's attention. However, she remembers that she doesn't care for that romance stuff. Is more focused on fighting. So yeah, don't worry about that. As this one, of course, after Asta's arrival, we will also end up getting the others, that being Nozel, who ends up announcing that he would be going with them, which none of them is really impressed, because like, bro, they already got they have one captain, the super rookies, which yeah, Asta and Yuno are now known as like the super rookies, mostly due to the fact that, bro, they're rookies and they're on like captain levels. Like, that's just ridiculous. As this is when, obviously, after everyone has finally calmed down and everything, Marileona will still give the speech and the announcement. As after that, they will then turn their sights onto the Eye of the Midnight Sun base, as each one of them will then head off, ready to take on the threat itself. As this is where I'm going to go ahead and end this part to this what if. Haha. Hope you all do enjoy. Now, yeah, I don't really know what to say, guys. I'm really tired right now. Yeah, I just don't know what to say. I mean, for those who are watching, hopefully you guys have a good day. Hopefully you guys had a good day. Yeah, things have been odd, weird, many other things, but most of all, I'm just trying to go ahead and squeak by. I want to thank you all for your support and tuning into this video. I know I'm not the one for the best schedules. I already told y'all this like multiple times, but gosh dang, it's just you guys are so amazing, you know? You guys go ahead and give me support all the time. I don't even go ahead and post that much anymore, mostly due to the fact that, well, things have changed, and you know, we just try our best to continue moving on. But in the end of the day, guys, I really do hope that you guys know that your support is honestly really amazing. And yeah, also guys, just to let you know, we are close to 7K subscribers, guys. 7K, Jesus, that's been a road. I mean, I remember when I freaking hit 1,000 subscribers for the first time, dude. I was flipping out. I was like, oh my god, people actually know me. Like, they don't really know me, but they know me, you know. I'm feeling myself. And now we're about to hit 7K. That's crazy. And to think that 7K is nothing more but a closer journey to 10K, dude, as that's my real end goal right there. I'm trying to reach 10K. So hopefully we'll be able to reach it in time. As yeah, I got nothing else to say except hopefully you guys had a good day. Hopefully you guys stay well and good. And hopefully my videos is enough to at least brighten up your day, even if it's just a little bit. I really hope you guys at least enjoy my content. As besides all that, guys, it's your host, Sage the Samurai, and I'm signing off. Peace, and have a good day.